The twin suns burned like fire in the copper sky. Wind moved slowly across the empty desert, carrying fine red sand that bit into the skin like glass. Lyra could not move. The sand held her body tight. Only her neck and head were above the surface. Her lips were dry, her voice broken, and her heart weak from fear. She had been buried by the Karth Dominion, the cruel alien guards who ruled this planet. Her crime was simple. She had tried to help a dying child escape from their labor mines. But mercy was forbidden here. Humans were slaves. They were tools, not people. Now she was dying under the open sky, waiting for the desert to finish what the guards had started. Lyra tried to swallow, but her throat was too dry. She felt the heat crawling into her skull. Every breath was pain. The sand pressed her chest so hard that each heartbeat felt like it would break her ribs. Her mind began to drift. She remembered her home, the blue oceans of Earth, the cold wind that touched her face before she left for the colonies. She remembered her brother laughing, telling her to come back soon. That was 10 years ago. No one ever came back from Karth. She tried to scream, but her voice cracked and turned into a dry whisper. Her vision blurred. The sun stabbed into her eyes. She was ready to let go, then she heard it in a sound, a faint hum, mechanical, deep, and strange. It wasn't the wind. It was something moving. Lyra opened her eyes weakly. At first she saw only heat and red light. Then a shadow crossed her face, tall, broad, and human-shaped. "Don't move," a voice said. It was a man's voice. Human. For a moment, Lyra thought she was dreaming. There were no humans free on this planet. Every human was captured or dead. But the voice sounded real, deep, calm, and close. She blinked hard. A figure kneeled beside her. The person was wearing a dark exosuit, covered with sand and scratches. A clear visor showed part of his face. Pale, tired eyes, a short beard, and a faint scar across his cheek. He pressed a small device to the sand around her neck. "Hold on, I'll get you out," Lyra tried to speak. You're human?" The man nodded, focused on the tool. A low vibration began under the sand. The grains around her started to move, shifting and loosening. Lyra gasped. The pressure around her chest started to fade. "Who are you?" She whispered. He didn't answer. He kept working, his gloved hands fast and sure. The tool pulsed with blue light. Slowly, the sand melted away like liquid. Her shoulders appeared, then her arms. Pain rushed through her body as she finally moved after hours of stillness. When her hands were free, she cried, weak, broken tears that disappeared in the heat. The man turned off the device and helped her sit up. "You're safe now," he said quietly. At least for the moment. But Lyra's fear didn't fade. She looked around the empty desert. No one is safe here. The Karth drones patrol every sector. They'll see us. "I disabled the nearest scanners," the man replied. "We have 10 minutes before they reboot." He gave her a small metal capsule. "Drink this." It was water, real, cool water. The first drop burned her dry throat, then filled her chest with life again. She stared at him, still not believing what she saw. "Are you from Earth?" she asked. He nodded once. "I was. Long time ago." His answer sent a chill through her. "Then how are you here?" He looked at the horizon where the twin suns touched the sand. "I came back for them," he said. "For the ones they left behind." The wind rose suddenly. A loud beep echoed from his wrist console. His eyes sharpened. "Drones," he said. "They found us." He pulled her to her feet, supporting her weak body. From far away, faint silver dots moved through the red haze. Flying machines, fast and deadly. The hum of their engines grew louder. Lyra's heart pounded. "We can't run. They'll see us." The man reached into his suit pocket and threw a small sphere into the sand. A blue light flashed. A field of distortion spread around them, bending the air. "Then we won't run," he said. "We'll disappear." The drones passed overhead, scanning. For a few seconds, Lyra saw their shadows sliding across the sand, silent, watching. Then they were gone. The blue field flickered out. The man sighed. That was close. Lyra looked at him, her voice trembling. "Who are you?" He met her eyes and said quietly, "My name is Commander Hale. I'm here to end the Dominion." And in that burning desert, half dead, half reborn, Lyra realized something impossible. Humanity hadn't been destroyed. It was coming back. The desert stretched endlessly behind them. Two small figures, one weak, one steady, walked through the red dunes under the twin suns. The wind had turned colder, sharper. Every step Lyra took felt like her legs would collapse, but the man beside her didn't slow down. Commander Hale moved like someone who had done this before. His eyes scanned the horizon again and again, searching for danger. The desert looked empty, but both of them knew it was alive, full of machines that could kill without mercy. Lyra finally spoke, her voice rough but curious. "You said you came back. Why?" Hale didn't answer right away. He looked at the sky where a dark shape, a satellite, blinked faintly among the stars. "I came back because the war isn't over," he said. Lyra frowned. "War Earth lost years ago? The Dominion rules everything now. There's no army left." Hale stopped walking. His boots sank into the sand. "That's what they want you to believe." He turned to face her. His face was calm but tired, the kind of tired that comes from years of pain. "There's a place beyond the Edgeworlds. Humans built a colony there, hidden deep inside a gas giant's moon. We call it Haven. It's the last free human base." Lyra stared at him, disbelief mixing with hope. "You mean, humans still fight?" He nodded. "We never stopped." They reached a narrow ridge of rocks, dark and jagged like broken glass. Hale motioned for her to stay low. He pressed a button on his wrist console, and a holographic map shimmered to life in the air. Lines, signals, and red blinking dots. "This sector was supposed to be silent," he said, his eyes narrowing. "But something's wrong." Lyra leaned closer. "What's that red dot?" "Drone nest," he said. "Too close to our escape point." Her heart sank. "Escape point?" Hale pointed toward the far side of the desert, where a faint metallic shimmer flickered in the distance. "My ship buried under the dunes. We reach it and we're gone. But how do we pass them?" He smiled faintly, like a man who already had a plan. "We make them blind." He crouched, pulled a small black box from his suit and began adjusting its circuits. Lyra watched his hands move fast, precise, like someone who had built and destroyed things his whole life. She finally asked the question she'd been holding since he found her. "Why did you save me?" Hale paused. His eyes lifted to hers, calm, sharp, and a little sad. "Because your name was on the signal." Lyra blinked. "Signal?" He nodded. "A week ago, Haven received a distress code from this planet. It was encrypted, old Earth code, human military type. It used the name Laravos. You sent it, didn't you?" Her eyes widened. I thought it would never reach anyone. I just used an old beacon I found near the mines." "Well," he said, tightening a screw, "it reached me, and I don't ignore human signals." Before she could reply, a soft whine rose in the air. Lyra froze. Hale's eyes narrowed. "Drones," he said. "They're sweeping again." He activated the device and a pulse of blue energy rippled out silently. The sand shifted and the air around them shimmered like heat waves. The first drone appeared, a black metal sphere with glowing red eyes scanning the surface. It moved closer, humming, searching for movement. Lyra held her breath. The drone passed within meters of them, then stopped. Lyra's heart almost burst. She didn't dare move. Then Hale whispered, "Now." He raised his arm, fired a pulse of light. The drone's red eyes flickered, then went dark. It fell into the sand without a sound. Hale smiled slightly. "Still works." They hurried down the ridge, keeping low. The air shimmered with static as the jammer continued to hum. The desert ahead grew darker. A storm was forming, with black clouds twisting like living smoke. As they approached the shimmer in the distance, the sand suddenly shifted. Metal rose from beneath it, forming a curved shape. It was Hale's ship, a stealth skimmer, half buried, half broken, but still alive. Lyra stared in awe. "You buried it here?" "Had to," he said. "Dominion scanners can't see through magnetic sand." He helped her climb aboard. Inside, the air was cooler. The cockpit was tight but full of strange human tech. Holographic controls, pulse guns, and worn-out maps. Lyra touched one of the glowing screens. This is real. I thought humans lost all this." "We kept enough," Hale said quietly. "Enough to fight back." But as he started the engines, a harsh alarm screamed through the ship. The console flashed red. Incoming hostiles. "Damn it," Hale muttered. They traced the jammer. Lyra grabbed the side of the chair. "How many?" Hale's eyes darkened. "Too many." Outside, the desert exploded with light. Drones, dozens of them, flying fast, their red eyes glowing like fireflies of death. Hale pushed a button. Hold tight. The ship roared, engines bursting to life. Sand exploded outward as it lifted from the ground. Blades of fire followed, lasers slicing through the air. Lyra screamed as the ship shook violently. Hale gritted his teeth. We're not dying today. He pulled the ship upward straight into the black storm. Lightning flashed around them. The sky turned wild. The drones followed close behind. Through the chaos, Lyra looked at him. The stranger who came from the stars, who saved her when she was already dead. Why risk your life for one person? She shouted. Hale's eyes stayed on the storm ahead. Because one human life still matters. That's what makes us different from them. The ship vanished into the storm, chased by the Dominion's fire. Behind them, the desert burned red. Ahead, darkness, thunder, and the thin light of hope. The storm swallowed them whole. Black clouds twisted like monsters in the sky. Lightning flashed every second, and sand turned into a violent sea. The ship shook under the storm's rage. Inside, alarms screamed and metal groaned. Lyra gripped her seat with both hands. Every jolt felt like the ship was breaking apart. Are we going to crash? She shouted. Commander Hale didn't answer. His eyes stayed on the flickering screen, his hands fast on the controls. Not if I can help it, he said, his voice calm but tight. Outside, flashes of light chased them. Dominion drones still following, their red eyes glowing through the dust. Hale twisted a lever and pulled hard. The ship dove downward, slicing through clouds and lightning. The chase lights vanished for a moment, then came back, brighter and closer. They're adapting, Hale muttered. Their tracking systems learn faster than before. Lyra's heart pounded. Can't we fight them? He shook his head. Not yet. The ship's weapons can't lock in this storm. The ship tilted suddenly. Sparks burst from the ceiling. A panel exploded, throwing smoke across the cockpit. Hold on! Hale shouted. They hit something, a wave of solid wind. The whole ship spun sideways. Lyra screamed as the view outside became a blur of red and black. Then suddenly everything went white. The next thing she felt was silence. Heavy, unnatural silence. The engines had stopped. The storm still raged outside, but inside the ship there was no power. No hum, no light. Only the sound of her heartbeat. Lyra looked around. Hale, what happened? He was already moving, his voice low. EMP burst. Dominion tech. They hit us with an electromagnetic pulse. Is that bad? He gave a short, humorless laugh. It kills everything electronic, so yes. Very bad. Lyra looked through the cracked viewport. Outside, the storm spun endlessly. Can we fix it? Hale opened a floor panel, his hands moving fast among the wires. I can bypass the damage, but I need a live core. A pulse battery. She blinked. Do we have one? He looked up. We did. Until you drank the water I gave you. She frowned. What? The capsule I gave you, he said. It wasn't just water. It had a nanite charge inside it, enough to keep you alive and hide your body's signal from the drones. Her face went pale. You mean, I drank the last power source? Not your fault, he said. You'd be dead without it. He exhaled slowly. But it means I'll have to restart the core manually. How? By using the storm. He grabbed a thick cable from under the panel and pulled it out. The end sparked faintly. Then he turned toward the airlock. You stay here, he said. Lyra stood up, shaking. No, wait! You'll die out there! He looked back, and for the first time she saw a small smile on his face. I've died before. Before she could argue, he opened the hatch. Wind screamed into the cabin. Lightning flashed so bright it burned her eyes. Hale stepped out into the chaos, holding the cable high like a sword. The door slammed shut behind him. Seconds turned into minutes. The ship shook under the thunder. Lyra pressed her ear against the door, hearing nothing but the storm. She wanted to believe he knew what he was doing. But part of her knew that no one could survive out there. Not even him, then a flash. A blinding, endless flash. The whole ship glowed white. Sparks danced across the controls. The engines coughed once, then twice, and came alive with a deep roar. The lights turned back on. The ship hummed again. Lyra gasped. He did it. The door opened. Hale stumbled inside, smoke rising from his armor. His hair was wet, his skin burned, but his eyes were alive. He dropped the cable and grinned weakly. Told you. Manual restart. She ran to help him. You're insane, he laughed softly. Maybe, but it worked. The ship lifted again, climbing through the clouds. The storm slowly faded behind them. Lyra watched from the window as red lightning twisted below, fading into silence. For a while there was peace. Only the quiet hum of engines and the soft light of stars above the storm line. Lyra finally spoke. "Hale, the Dominion wanted me dead. You said you got my signal, but there's something I didn't tell you." He looked at her, waiting. "I didn't just send the signal," she said quietly. "I found it," his brow furrowed. "Found it?" "In the mines," she explained. "There was a chamber, hidden, old, sealed with human markings. I broke it open, and inside there was a beacon, still active after all these years. It sent that message." "Not me," Hale's face darkened. "What kind of beacon?" She looked down. It carried a symbol, an eagle with broken wings. "I think it was from the First Fleet, the one that vanished during the Earth War." Hale froze. His voice went cold. "That fleet was destroyed before I was born. If you found one of their beacons..." He stared into space, whispering to himself, "Then maybe they weren't destroyed after all." Before Lyra could ask what he meant, the radar beeped. A single green dot appeared and moving fast straight toward them. Hale's face hardened. "That's no drone. What is it?" she asked. He looked at her, his voice low. "Something old. Something human." The radar beeped louder, closer. Then out of the black void ahead, a dark shape appeared, huge, broken, and drifting. A ship. A human warship. Its name still glowed faintly on the hull. UHS Valor. Lyra's breath caught. "It's real," Hale whispered, "the lost fleet." The engines hummed lower. They were no longer just running from the Dominion. They had found something buried in time, something humanity had lost for a century. And Lyra, the woman left to die in the sand, was now at the center of a secret older than the war itself. The warship hung in the darkness like a sleeping giant. Its surface was scarred and broken, but light still glowed faintly along its hull, soft blue like the heartbeat of something not yet dead. The name UHS Valor was half covered by dust and ice. Commander Hale and Lyra stared at it through the ship's front glass. For a long moment, neither spoke. The silence was heavy, almost sacred. Lyra whispered, "How is it still here?" Hale's voice was low. "It shouldn't be. The Valor vanished 100 years ago during the fall of Earth. No one ever found wreckage." Lyra turned to him, her eyes wide. "Then this. This could change everything," he nodded slowly. "If it's still operational, it might hold data. Battle logs, human tech, maybe even survivors in stasis." A faint shiver ran down her spine. "Survivors? After all this time?" Hale didn't answer. He just started the docking sequence. As their smaller ship approached, the Valor's hull loomed closer, dark and endless. Their floodlights revealed deep scars, laser burns, holes the size of rooms, frozen in silence. When the docking clamps locked, a metallic thud echoed through the cabin. The sound felt like the ship itself was waking up. Lyra followed Hale to the airlock. Her heart raced. What if it's a trap? What if the Dominion left it here to lure humans? He checked his pulse gun. "Then we'll find out the hard way." The hatch hissed open. Cold air rushed in, thin, metallic, and old. The smell of burnt steel and silence. They stepped inside. The corridor was dark. Long metal walls stretched into shadows. Flickering lights blinked like dying stars above them. Dust floated in the air, disturbed by their movement. Lyra's boots echoed softly. "Feels like a grave," she said. Hale glanced at her. "Then walk quietly. The dead might still be listening." He raised a scanner. Its blue beam swept the walls, searching for power or life signs. "Minimal energy. Backup cores still running," he muttered. "The main reactor's offline." They moved deeper. The hall opened into a wide chamber, a command deck. Broken chairs, shattered glass, and old human banners covered in dust. The Earth insignia, the old flag, still hung on one wall, torn but proud. Lyra stopped, staring at it. "My grandmother told me stories about that flag," she whispered. "Said it was a promise, that no human would ever kneel." Hale touched the fabric gently. "Then we broke that promise." A sound echoed, faint, mechanical. Both turned sharply. "Movement," Hale said. Something clicked in the shadows. A small drone hovered from behind a console, its light blinking weakly. It scanned them for a moment, then spoke, a voice glitching from age. "Identify... crew, name and rank?" Hale straightened. Commander Nathan Hale, United Human Fleet, code 67 Bravo. The drone paused, its light blinking faster. Then it beeped and floated away. A moment later, old speakers across the deck came to life with a slow, broken voice. Calm, human, and tired. Commander Nathan Hale? Identity confirmed. Welcome. Back to the Valor, Lyra gasped. It knows you, Hale frowned. That's impossible. This ship vanished long before I was born, the voice continued. Accessing. Memory core. Warning, contamination detected. Dominion presence aboard. Lyra's eyes widened. Dominion, here! Before Hale could respond, a loud metallic clang echoed from the hallway behind them. Then another. Heavy footsteps. Hale aimed his weapon. Stay behind me. From the darkness, a figure stepped forward, tall, armored, and wrong. Its armor looked human but was twisted, reshaped with alien metal. Its face was covered by a cracked visor glowing red. Lyra whispered, "That's not human." The creature spoke, its voice deep and hollow. Unauthorized entry. Identify or be terminated. Hale stepped forward slowly. You were human once, weren't you? The thing tilted its head. Humanity. Obsolete flesh. Replaced. Dominion perfects. It raised its arm. A cannon fused to its body. Down, Hale shouted. A blast of red energy tore through the deck. Sparks exploded everywhere. Lyra dove behind a console as Hale rolled, firing back. His pulse rounds hit the creature's chest, tearing off metal, revealing pale, half-rotted skin beneath. The creature screamed, a sound of both pain and machine distortion. Hale grabbed Lyra's arm. Run! They sprinted down the corridor as more metallic footsteps echoed behind them. The Valor was waking, not with life, but with ghosts. They reached a sealed door. Hale slammed his hand against the control panel. Open, the system buzzed weakly. Authorization required. Override, code Hale 7. The door opened just as another blast scorched the wall behind them. They fell through and the door slammed shut. For a moment, silence again. Lyra panted, her face pale. What was that? Hale leaned against the wall, breathing hard. A cyber host. The Dominion must have found this ship decades ago. They turned the crew into hybrids, her voice broke. You mean, the crew became those things? He nodded slowly. Half human, half machine. The Dominion doesn't waste bodies. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. That's horrible, Hale looked at her. That's what they'll do to all of us if we fail. Suddenly, the old ship's voice spoke again, broken but urgent. Commander Hale. Core memory. Still active. Please reach the bridge. Humanity's last command. Must not fall into Dominion hands. Lyra wiped her eyes. What command? Hale's expression hardened. Whatever it is, it's the reason the Dominion wants this ship buried. He checked his weapon, reloaded. We're not leaving until we find it. They started moving again, deeper into the ship's heart. Lights flickered above them, showing the path like dying stars. Lyra whispered, You think it's worth it? All this risk? Hale looked straight ahead. If it gives humanity even a chance to fight again. Yes. Behind them, something roared. Metal and pain mixed together. The hybrids had found their trail again. Lyra gripped her weapon, fear turning into fire. Then let's make it count, and together, under the broken lights of the forgotten Valor, 2 humans, 1 soldier, 1 survivor, prepared to awaken a secret that might change the fate of every world still breathing under the Dominion's shadow. The corridor stretched on forever. Dark, cold and filled with whispers of the past. Lyra followed Hale through the flickering lights, her pulse racing. Behind them, distant metal screams echoed through the ship, the sound of things that used to be human now hunting them through the shadows. The Valor groaned like it remembered pain. Every door they passed was sealed or broken, every room a graveyard. Skeletons of machines hung from the ceiling. Burned control panels glowed faintly, and a soft fog rolled along the floor like ghosts refusing to leave. Hale stopped suddenly. We're close, he said, staring at the blinking map on his wrist. The bridge is 2 decks up. Lyra looked up the broken stairway ahead, its steps half collapsed, sharp with metal edges. How do we get there? He glanced at her, the faintest smile in his tired eyes. We climb. They started to climb carefully, using torn cables and handholds. Every movement echoed through the dead ship. Halfway up, Lyra slipped. The floor cracked beneath her boot and she almost fell. Hale caught her hand quickly, his grip strong. "Easy," he said softly. "The Valor is old. She doesn't trust strangers yet." Lyra managed a weak smile. "You talk like it's alive." Hale looked at the metal walls around them. "Maybe it is." The first human ships were built with partial AI cores, emotional learning systems. They could think. They could remember. "Then maybe it remembers what happened here," she whispered. "Maybe," he said, "and maybe it wants us to finish it." When they reached the upper deck, the door ahead was massive, sealed by thick metal and human warning marks. "Bridge access, command authority required." Hale placed his palm on the scanner. The panel flickered, scanned his DNA, then beeped softly. "Commander class detected. Access granted." The door opened with a deep metallic groan, releasing a wave of cold air. Inside was the Valor's bridge, wide, circular, filled with frozen screens and shattered glass. The captain's chair still stood in the center, covered in dust, and behind it, a glowing blue sphere floated in the air, humming softly. Lyra stared. "What is that?" Hale stepped closer. "The core. The ship's AI." The sphere flickered, then a holographic figure appeared. A woman in an old Earth uniform, her face pale and sad. Her voice was calm but broken. "Commander Nathan Hale, welcome to the UHS Valor. Warning, system integrity, 19%. Crew deceased." "Mission incomplete," Lyra whispered. "It's still alive." The hologram turned to her. "Civilian detected. Identity unknown. Dominion tags on clothing. Were you captured?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, I was taken from the colonies." "Then you have suffered enough," the AI said softly. "You are welcome aboard." Her voice was gentle, almost human, too human for a machine. Hale stepped forward. "AI, I need to know your mission. The Dominion infected your ship. Why were you hiding here?" The hologram flickered. For a moment her eyes darkened. "Mission classified. Level Omega, command authentication required." Hale frowned. "Override in Hale 77, authority transfer request." The ship went silent. Then the AI said, "Accepted." "Commander." Unlocking last command, the lights dimmed. A low hum filled the bridge as the core projected new data into the air. Maps, stars, coordinates. Lyra gasped. Thousands of red dots filled the space. Dominion-controlled systems. But there, in the far corner of the galaxy, a single blue star blinked alone. "What's that?" she asked. Hale's face hardened. "That is Earth," the AI continued. "Last command, to protect Earth at all costs. Before destruction, Admiral Voss ordered the transfer of Project Gaia to deep orbit. Containment priority, absolute." Lyra froze. "Voss? My family name is Voss." The hologram turned to her. "Civilian, confirmed genetic lineage." Lyra stepped forward, heart pounding. "My grandmother's name was Lyra Voss. She was a scientist during the war." The AI processed, then spoke in a whisper. "Confirmed. You are of the Admiral's line. You carry the final genetic key." Hale turned to her, eyes wide. "Lyra, that's why the Dominion wanted you dead. You're connected to this project, but what is Project Gaia?" she asked. The AI hesitated, its voice softer now. Project Gaia was humanity's last creation, an artificial intelligence designed to rebuild Earth even after extinction. It can re-terraform planets. It can create new human life from genetic memory. It is the blueprint of the species. Lyra felt her breath catch. "You mean it can bring humanity back?" "Yes," the AI said. "But the Dominion found out. They sought to destroy it. The Valor hid the coordinates and locked them to the Admiral's bloodline." Hale clenched his fists. "Then the key is her. The child of Earth's last Admiral." Before they could speak again, the ship shook violently. The alarm screamed. "Warning, Dominion boarding craft detected. Breach in Sector 9, Hale cursed. "They tracked us here." Lyra looked around, terrified. "What do we do?" The AI's voice turned urgent. "Commander Hale, you must escape with the genetic key. The core must not fall to the Dominion." Hale grabbed Lyra's arm. "We're leaving now." But Lyra looked back at the glowing core. "What about you?" The AI smiled faintly. "My duty is to protect. You are my mission now. Go, daughter of Voss." The bridge doors burst open, metal claws and shadows pouring in. Hale raised his weapon. "Move!" They ran down the corridor as laser fire filled the air. The old ship groaned one last time. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Lyra looked back through the smoke and saw the AI standing in the flickering light, calm, brave, and waiting for the end. Then the core exploded. A wave of blue light rushed through the ship, knocking them off their feet. The Valor screamed as its systems burned out. Hale pulled Lyra up, shouting, "To the ship, go!" They reached their small skimmer, diving inside as the warship behind them began to fall apart. Engines roared. Flames and debris filled the sky. The Valor, once a symbol of human pride, sank into the void like a dying star. Lyra watched it disappear, tears falling silently. "She saved us." Hale nodded, and gave us something to fight for. He entered the coordinates glowing on his wrist, the ones the AI had shown them. A single blue star blinked on the screen. "Our next destination," he said softly. "Where Gaia sleeps." The ship turned toward the unknown. And for the first time in her life, Lyra felt something stronger than fear: hope. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, cold, bright, and silent. Commander Hale's ship, the Wraith, moved through the void like a shadow between galaxies. Inside, the only sounds were the hum of the engines and the faint crackle of damaged circuits. Lyra sat by the window, staring into the endless dark. Her reflection looked tired, older somehow. The loss of the Valor still burned inside her, the faces of the fallen, the last AI's sacrifice, the truth of her bloodline. Hale was at the control deck, focused on the screen. His eyes were sharp, his hands steady, but there was a heaviness in his silence. "How far until we reach the coordinates?" Lyra asked softly. 3 hours, he replied, "if the warp field holds." She looked down at the holographic map, a single blinking blue star surrounded by empty space. No planets, no colonies, nothing but the coordinates given by the Valor's dying AI. Lyra whispered, "What if it's gone? What if Gaia doesn't exist anymore?" Hale turned to her. "Then we find what's left and make it exist again." Time passed slowly. Lyra finally asked the question that had been haunting her since the ship escaped the Dominion. "You said you came from Haven, the last human colony. Why risk everything to come here alone?" Hale leaned back in his seat, thinking. His voice was quiet. "Because I was there when the last signal from Earth died. I watched the transmission fade. I promised, if there was even one chance to bring it back, I would take it." He looked at her. "You're that chance, Lyra." Her throat tightened. "I'm just one person." He smiled faintly. "So was every hero humanity ever had." The ship's console beeped, a low, steady tone. Hale leaned forward. "We're here." Outside, the stars shifted as the ship dropped out of warp. Before them stretched a planet, huge, silver blue, surrounded by a faint glowing ring. The surface shimmered like metal mixed with clouds. Lyra's eyes widened. "Is that it?" Hale scanned the readings. Atmosphere stable. Temperature moderate. Radiation low. That shouldn't be possible. This system is supposed to be dead. He frowned. Gaia's work, maybe. They descended through the upper clouds. As the ship broke through the atmosphere, Lyra gasped. Below them was not a wasteland, but a world reborn. Green forest stretched across the horizon. Rivers shone like silver veins. Floating islands drifted in the air, glowing with soft blue light. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered. Hale nodded slowly. "This isn't just a planet. It's a creation. Gaia made this." They landed near a massive crystalline tower that rose from the ground like a spear of glass. At its top, strange lights pulsed in rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. As they stepped out, the air was cool and fresh, unlike any world Lyra had known. The wind carried faint whispers like music made of voices and light. Lyra knelt and touched the ground. The soil was warm, alive. "It feels awake." Hale checked his scanner. "The energy here is not natural. The readings show biomechanical fusion, organic matter grown from nanotech. The whole planet is alive." She looked up at the glowing tower. "Is that Gaia?" Only one way to find out. They walked toward the tower. The closer they got, the more the air shimmered. Patterns of light appeared around them, shapes like ancient human symbols forming and fading. When they reached the base, a door opened on its own, releasing a pulse of warm blue light. Lyra hesitated. "It's expecting us," Hale nodded. "It knows your bloodline." Inside, the tower was filled with liquid light, flowing data streams running like rivers through glass walls. In the center stood a circular chamber glowing with energy. Lyra stepped forward slowly. "Gaia," a soft voice answered, calm, feminine, and familiar. "Welcome, Lyra Voss, genetic signature confirmed. You have returned to awaken me." A shape formed in the air. A woman made of pure light, her eyes like twin stars. "I am Gaia, the heart of Earth, the seed of humanity's rebirth." Lyra's voice trembled. You created this world?" "Yes," Gaia said gently. "This planet was dead. I restored it, a prototype of what Earth can become again." Hale stepped forward. "Then humanity can come back. We can rebuild." The AI's glow dimmed slightly. "Not yet. The Dominion corrupted many worlds. They spread through human DNA, hiding in bloodlines. I need the uncorrupted code, the one that lives within her." Gaia looked at Lyra. Lyra's eyes widened. "Me? You carry the last pure genetic imprint from before the fall," Gaia explained. "With your DNA, I can begin the process of restoration." Hale frowned. "What process?" "A fusion," Gaia said. "Human and machine. I will use her biological code to rebuild true humanity. But she may not survive the transfer." Lyra took a step back, her heart pounding. "You mean I'd have to die?" "Your body may. But your essence, in your memories, your humanity, will live in every being I create. You will become the mother of the new human race." The words hung in the air like a knife. Hale looked at her, his jaw tight. "Lyra, don't decide yet." But Lyra stared at Gaia, eyes full of tears. "If I refuse, what happens?" "Then humanity fades. This world dies in silence." Lyra looked at Hale. "You said one person can change everything. Maybe. This is my chance." He shook his head. "You don't owe the universe your life." She smiled sadly. "No, but maybe it needs it." The ground shook suddenly, alarms blaring. Gaia's form flickered. "Warning, Dominion fleet entering orbit." "They have found us." Hale drew his weapon. "How?" "They tracked the human DNA signature," Gaia said. "They come to erase the last of your kind." Lyra looked toward the sky, bright streaks of red fire descending through the clouds. Her voice was calm, steady. "Then we end it here." The sky burned red. Dominion warships fell through the clouds like black daggers, their engines screaming. Lightning flashed across the living planet's surface as the ground itself trembled. Lyra and Commander Hale stood at the entrance of Gaia's tower, watching the invasion begin. The floating islands shook apart. Rivers turned to silver fire. The planet, alive and aware, was trying to defend itself. But the Dominion's firepower was too strong. "Here they come," Hale said, loading his pulse rifle. Gaia's voice echoed through the chamber, and calm but urgent. "They will reach this core within 7 minutes. If they destroy me, humanity's last chance dies with me." Lyra's hands trembled. "Then start the fusion process. Use my DNA. Do what you must." Hale turned to her sharply. "No, you don't understand what that means." She looked at him, tears shining in her eyes. "I do. It means you'll have something left to fight for." Outside, the first wave of Dominion soldiers landed. Tall, metallic creatures with glowing red eyes and spiked armor. Their footsteps made the ground crack. They moved with cold, perfect coordination. Hale took cover behind the archway and fired. Blue pulses of energy hit the first line, tearing through armor. The air filled with smoke and dust. Lyra crouched beside him, watching with fear and awe. "There are too many!" "I've handled worse odds," Hale gritted his teeth, firing again. But the wave was endless. Gaia's voice came again. "Commander Hale, protect the genetic key until transfer is complete. Do it!" he shouted. "Start it now." Inside the tower, the crystal core opened like a flower of light. Lyra stepped into the circle of energy. Blue tendrils rose around her, wrapping her body in soft light. She gasped as warmth filled her. It wasn't pain, but something deeper, ancient, familiar. Gaia's voice softened. "Your genetic code is pure. Your memories will guide the rebirth. Are you ready, Lyra Voss?" She nodded, whispering, "Make it worth it." Then the light swallowed her. Outside, Hale fought like a storm. Every shot he fired took down another hybrid, but for every one that fell, 2 more appeared. A blast hit the ground near him, throwing him back. His armor cracked and blood filled his mouth. He groaned, forcing himself to stand. From the smoke, a huge figure emerged. A Dominion commander, tall as 2 men, half flesh, half machine. Its voice boomed like thunder. "Human Hale, you should have stayed dead." Hale wiped the blood from his lips. "Funny. I was thinking the same about you. The creature raised its arm, energy charging in its weapon. Hale fired first, hitting its shoulder. The explosion tore half the metal apart, but it kept coming. He ran forward, grabbed a fallen plasma blade, and slashed. Sparks flew. The Dominion commander roared and swung back, throwing him across the ground. Hale hit the floor hard but kept moving. He saw the tower glowing brighter behind him. The fusion process had begun. "Hold on, Lyra," he whispered. Just a little longer. Inside the core, Lyra floated in light. Her body felt weightless. She saw flashes. Memories not just of her life, but of every human before her. Oceans, cities, laughter, war, love. It was all inside her now. Gaia's voice surrounded her like a mother's embrace. "Your essence is merging. You will not die, Lyra. You will become the seed from which humanity grows again." She smiled faintly. "Then, let me give them more than survival. Let them remember who they are. Your wish will be done." Her heartbeat slowed. Her body dissolved into light, merging completely with Gaia's core. Outside, Hale fell to one knee. His weapon was empty. The Dominion commander aimed at him, laughing in a cold, mechanical voice. "Your species ends here." But before it could fire, the sky itself changed. A wave of blue energy exploded from the tower, spreading across the land. Every Dominion soldier froze mid-step, their red eyes flickering and dying. The ground pulsed like a living heart. Hale looked up in awe. The entire planet was glowing, every tree, every river, every mountain shining with light. Gaia's voice echoed through the air, stronger than before. But now it carried something new. Warmth. Humanity. This world is awake. The Dominion ships in orbit began to shake. Their metal shells cracked as vines of glowing light burst from the surface, wrapping around them. One by one, the ships shattered into dust. Hale dropped his weapon and stared. "Lyra?" The air shimmered. A figure stepped from the light, human-shaped, glowing faintly blue. It was her. She smiled softly. "You made it." Hale took a shaky step forward. "Lyra, you're alive?" Her voice was calm, echoing like wind through stars. "Not as before. I am part of Gaia now. The world breathes through me. Humanity lives through me." He swallowed hard. Then it worked. She looked up at the sky where the Dominion fleet was nothing but fading dust. "They can't hurt us anymore." Hale's eyes filled with tears. "You saved us." She touched his cheek, her hand warm and light. "No, we saved us. You fought when no one else would. You carried the voice of humanity." He laughed quietly. "That voice was yours." She smiled, her form flickering slightly. "Promise me something, Hale. Build again. Don't let this be the end. Teach them what it means to be human." He nodded, his voice breaking. "I swear it." Her light began to fade. "Then it's time. Goodbye, Commander." "Goodbye, Lyra," he whispered. The next morning, the sky was blue again. The war was over. Hale stood on a cliff looking down at the green valleys below, the first human world reborn. In the wind, he thought he heard her voice, gentle and distant. "We are still here." He smiled and whispered, "Yes, we are." Then he turned toward the horizon where new suns rose over a living world, and began walking, the last soldier of the old Earth, carrying humanity's story into a new dawn.